UK told to pay £1 billion for closer EU access. Britain could be facing a major new political and economic demand from Brussels, a potential £1 billion annual payment just to strengthen ties with the European Union. Reports suggest that Sir Keir Starmer has been warned that if the UK wants closer access to the EU single market, it will need to make a significant financial contribution, what EU officials are calling a pay-to-play arrangement. One European diplomat reportedly said if the UK wants further integration, they must pay to play. That is not unusual. The idea is expected to be raised at a high-level summit between EU leaders later this summer. At the same time, the UK is exploring deeper cooperation with the EU on defence, including potential participation in parts of the EU's £78 billion Ukraine support loan, aimed at strengthening European security and support for Kiev. Sir Keir Starmer, currently in Armenia, is expected to push for closer economic and defence ties with Europe, signalling a shift towards greater alignment after Brexit. But Brussels appears to have made its position clear. No cherry-picking access to the single market. Instead, EU officials are reportedly pushing for a Swiss-style model, where countries pay annual contributions in exchange for market access. Switzerland currently pays hundreds of millions of euros each year for access to EU programs, and applying a similar formula to the UK economy could result in contributions approaching £1 billion annually. Key sectors like chemicals, pharmaceuticals, and automotive manufacturing are being considered for closer alignment, but only if financial contributions are agreed. The proposal has sparked strong criticism in Westminster. Shadow Foreign Secretary Dame Priti Patel warned that British taxpayers could end up funding EU institutions with no end date and no democratic mandate. She also accused the government of failing to secure strong deals, arguing that Labour returns from negotiations having paid heavily for limited gains. However, Labour sources have pushed back, suggesting the Conservatives are more focused on political messaging than practical solutions. At the centre of the debate is a bigger question for voters in the UK: is closer cooperation with the EU worth the price tag, or is Britain being asked to pay too much to rebuild ties after Brexit?